Hey, everybody, welcome to Hump Day Hangouts. It is episode 413. We are getting up there, man. It's hard to believe we've got 400. I mean, now episode 400 was what, 12, 13 weeks ago? Crazy. Anyways, today is the 12th of October, 2022. We got a lot of really good questions. We got a couple of announcements for you guys, but first want to say hi to everybody and get into it. So also saying hello to all of you. If you're out there, we know there's people who just watched. That's cool. If you want, you can say hi, you can type something in, say hello, let us know where you're watching from today. And if you're watching on YouTube, just know you can always go over to semanticmastery.com/HDHO. That is the link. It doesn't change. You can always go there, and we have that set up. So if you have a random question on a Friday afternoon and you're like, oh, damn, I wish I could ask Semantic Mastery this question, just head over there, ask the question, and we'll answer it on the next Hump Day Hangouts. And then just subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can get updates when that stuff is posted, because we post the replays and then chop out the questions too to make it easy for you to find. So with that said, Chris, how you doing today?
Good. I can't complain. Super exciting things happening behind the scenes as usual. There's so many good things coming up. I don't know what I can actually say, but like I'm super excited. And our customers will soon be very excited soon too on those ends. Yeah, other than that, things are pretty good.
Yeah.
But one more thing. I heard you're gonna go trick and treating in Asia.
I am. I'm going to be doing some trick-or-treating in Thailand this year. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll be the only one doing it. I doubt I'll be carving a pumpkin, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to a conference and then also taking some time off since I'm flying literally halfway around the world. Figured might as well make the most of the jet lag. But also looking forward to meeting up with some people. Be meeting up with Mateo from GMB Crush.
Nice.
What's that?
I said nice.
Yeah. So never met him before. So going to meet up in person since he's located there, I believe, in Bangkok. And they're going to be attending a few talks as well from some large agency owners. And then some other people doing some really cool stuff, both in SEO and then other things, marketing and business wise. So really looking forward to that. And hopefully I come back with some stuff that I can share not only with Chris and Bradley, but, you know, if it's relevant, happy to share it with other people as well. So I think that's one of the benefits going to conferences, expand your mind, learn some new stuff, meet some people. So Bradley, how you doing today?
Busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, got some good things going on.
How was your ATV weekend? Was it good for you?
Yeah, it was good. It was great. I enjoyed it very much, but it's almost not worth it taking time off right now because I come back and, you know, for taking 4 days off, I've got just so many, I spent the entire day Monday just replying to emails and Facebook posts and shit like that. So an entire day to catch up on just messaging, it's, you know, it is what it is, but it was good to get away for a few days. But then when you come back and you have like more work piled up because you took some time off, it's almost like more stressful than it should. You know what I mean? So it's like, is it really worth taking the time off? But I feel like it's necessary. You have to do it sometimes.
You know what that means? We're growing.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the overwhelm of work. Like there's no question. I'm 100% grateful for that. So sometimes I have to remind myself that I'm grateful because sometimes it is a bit overwhelming. But with that said, you know, it's great because we just had a call with our developer for LocalFury and we've got stuff popping for that is great. You know, guys, we tried to be transparent about developing it further. We did launch a little bit prematurely, which is why we haven't done like a big push because we needed some revenue to continue developing. So we appreciate those that have been patient. We just got word from our developer that we are going to have signal activity reporting available next week. Not sure what day yet, but sometime next week it's going to be available. That's a big step in the right direction because we got support requests coming in saying like, you guys are bullshit. You're just taking our money. No, there really is real work being done. We just we had to develop a way to be able to provide reporting for that. And like I said, we just finished like literally, well, about 25, maybe 30 minutes ago now, a call with our developer that said, and he showed us the reporting activity stuff. We just got to figure out a way to get that into the dashboard for our customers. So I'm excited about those developments. We also have a lot of other developments coming out for that as well. Just so you guys know, I'm going to be doing a webinar about this on Monday with somebody else, but the presentation will be will include some of the new reporting features that are going to be rolled out next week. And so what we'll do is we'll take that, sections of the presentation that I'm giving on Monday out, and then send that out to our customers, or you guys at LocalFury, over the course of, hopefully by the end of the week, we'll have the first emails out, and probably do an email sequence of, 2 or 3 days or something like that, where we report it, show a little bit of some of the further developments as they're, each day. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is appreciate those of you that have been patient, those of you that aren't. And like, I get it. We are working our best to get reporting improved and all of that. So you guys can actually see going forward, we're going to start bringing in or requiring a setup fee for new customers to come on. And precisely because I will be giving one-on-one consultations before we start sending any signals to any of your locations. I'm going to have a one-on-one call with you, a Zoom call, a Zoom meeting, where we can go over the data that you want to submit, and we can, fine tune it and dial it in, because part of the thing that we're seeing is a lot of, and it's not your fault, but a lot of people are submitting like just very poor choices of keywords, or they have expectations that are completely unreasonable. And that's, again, it's not necessarily your fault. It's our fault, in fact, because we need to do better at helping educate like why we do the things that we do the way that we do them. So that's precisely why we're going to start incorporating a one-on-one consultation call with me, at least for the first few months. It'll be with me until we get somebody else trained and in place to do it, so that we can help you to get your campaigns, your campaign plan laid out. Like, in other words, we'll develop the plan and tell you and make sure that you've got the right keywords, that we're targeting the right kind of areas, all of that. And then we'll explain how we generate signals, which again, we focused almost exclusively on brand signals for the first month. That is incredibly important, guys, because otherwise, if you just hit it with a bunch of keyword signals and stuff, that's a very unnatural, way to start sending signals. So again, all of this will be explained as we start doing the one-on-one consultation calls. And we're going to be announcing more about this sometime next week.
Because you mentioned it, I also reviewed a couple of those profiles today. It's unbelievable, like the missed opportunities, like, and the massive potential on some of those profiles.
Yeah.
So yeah, like definitely.
But that goes back
very important thing.
But that goes back to what I was saying. It's not the LocalFury users' fault in all cases. Sometimes definitely. Maybe, but not always, because if you can't know what you don't know. So that's precisely why we need to do better. And that's why we're going to start incorporating a consultation call, because we want to kind of, manually help you to, develop a plan, an effective plan, and then convey why the plan is developed in that way to you on the call, so that you understand what it is that we're doing, and see that this is not just like, we're not just throwing a bunch of spam signals to get movement, where you're doing it in a very methodical way that it strengthens the entity, makes it stronger. So it's a longer term play, but it is much more effective in the long run. So anyway, we'll talk about it. And those of you that can't, I understand the impatience. I get it. I would be probably a bit upset too, but I promise you we're working on it. And next week, like I said, we're going to have a big step in the right direction, which is going to be able to start showing and reporting the activity levels that are being sent to your locations. And that's a huge step. I've been really waiting for that. And I'm really excited about that. I just saw the video from the developers today of the reporting. And it's just, it's great. I think you guys will like it too, but we just got to figure out a way to pipe that into the dashboard properly. So. Yeah,
it's been good. I know, like Bradley, we had a call. I'm not going to say who it was, but we had a call with a mastermind member who's been using the service and, understands, this is one of those services where over time it gets stronger the longer you continue to use it. But also, just like a lot of other people have said, yeah, it would be nice to know more about, understand what's kind of going on for the reporting. And so it's not that we're changing what's going on. It's just a better job of saying, hey, here's kind of more of what's going on, easier to show results, along with, we've got the local search grid reporting. We've already got the advanced GMV reporting. Now to have this, I think, like you said, really helps seal the deal.
So. Yeah. And then more strategy too. Like, not just, it's not just about sending signals, but we really do want to help, like I do with my link building business. It's a consultative. I do a ton of calls, and I mean, it's just crazy. It's a very personable link building business that I've built, and it requires a lot of my time, but it's consultative, and that's why I have such high client retention, which is great. I mean, I'm happy about it, but so I want to implement some of that into LocalFury, which is more consultative, because we want to provide not just the reporting, but also the strategy. We want to help you guys develop a strategy to help you have success long term, not just a quick win that could potentially be spammy. You know what I mean? So anyways, again, just a lot of developments are coming, in part thanks to you guys that have subscribed, because it has funded the further development. And we certainly appreciate that. But those of you that do stick around, just know that, over the next couple, we've made a lot of significant developments in the last couple of weeks. You will start to see those in very short order. So
cool. Let me pull up my information. Oh, wanted to say I'll pop the link on the page. But for those of you who were not able to make it to POFU Live, we're sad that you couldn't join us. We had another great POFU Live. And although we had an error when we sent it out, and it turns out that the POFU Live getting access to the replays does not cost $2,407, but it is an order of magnitude less than that. So you can get access to the replays. Sadly, you can't be there to ask questions. It's not interactive like being at POFU Live, which is a big benefit, but we understand some people either missed it, or you just want to, hey, I want to sit down, cruise through this stuff, stay up to date, and get kind of the latest and greatest from ourselves, as well as the amazing guest speakers we had. So I'm going to pop the link in for that. If you're interested, grab that, check it out. Well worth probably the $2,470 price, but you won't have to pay anywhere near that amount. So we got that straightened out. Apologies for that on the first day there. Let's see. I think that's it, guys. Anything else?
Yeah, one other thing. I did a guest hosted the Syndication Academy update webinar with Essie today, and I gave away an SOP. I put an SOP in Flowster. That it's free. You can have a free Flowster account and import, I think, up to 3 templates. So if you, this is not a ploy to force you to pay for Flowster, guys, but I would recommend you do anyways. If you are serious about growing your business, then SOPs is a very critical part of that, or else you'll probably stay small. And like, seriously, that's the reality. Unless you start building processes in your business, you will probably remain a solopreneur. Maybe that's what you want, but if you want a bigger business, it's we're going to require to have standard operating procedures. So anyway, I put some training into like full on SOP, standard operating procedures. So step-by-step instructions, plus training videos, plus links out to resources and such, into the training that I did with Essie today for Syndication Academy. And it's about how to get Google to discover the entity assets that you are building as part of Syndication Academy. If you're following along with Syndication Academy and what Essie teaches, then you should be building out, not you, but somebody on your team, a virtual assistant, an employee, whatever, should be implementing and continually expanding the entity footprint by getting a profile, branded profile on the platforms that Essie shows how to create a profile, optimize it, and an interlink. But that's only part of it. You got to get Google to discover those, right? And to make the connection. That's part of the reason we interlink, because it helps to make the association that it's all the same entity. But there are some things that you can do to significantly improve that the discovery process for Google, which, remember, what we're doing by doing this, expanding the entity footprint, is we're helping Google to engineer the knowledge graph for the local entity. It's incredibly important. And what I showed today so if you're in Syndication Academy, you'll see the update webinar, plus you'll get the Flowster template, which is the SOP and everything else. But it's very, very powerful. And at the end of my part of the presentation today, I even showed 100% real world results on how powerful this is and why it works so well. So anyways, I would encourage you guys that are in Syndication Academy, if you're not staying up to date with that stuff, go watch the most recent update webinar that was recorded today.
I actually had to laugh when you described that, because like it reminded me, like a week ago I went through a course, and it was literally surface level, like no details at all. And once you actually went through a course like the ones with SOPs, like where you literally get the step-by-step fed, like literally you can execute right from the get-go. And then you get like a course that just talks surface level bullshit. Like, what the heck is this, man? Like, it's such a difference. Like, so you really got like experience. And as a course that actually gives you an SOP, whereas like that just surface level, well, I don't know, like it's a massive difference.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's jump into it, guys.
Right on. Grab the screen. Okay, I think the first one, I thought I answered this one last week, but I'll answer this again anyway. I thought I answered that last week.
Yeah,
I did, because that's where the thanks again came out afterwards. All right, so it must be relaxed one. All right. Hey, SEO dudes, I was thinking about adding a domain name to one of my cloud stacks and linking the pages using both URLs. Internally and off page back and forth. Am I just thinking stupidity or would there be some benefit? I'm not sure I understand that. Unless you mean like a custom domain for a cloud hosted page, which you can do with a CNAME. A CNAME record using DNS, you can do that. And both. So that's kind of the way that I do what I call rebuilds for semantic links is because we use custom domains, but they're cloud storage hosted. Well, not necessarily, not always, because I use combination of Amazon S3 and Rackspace, as well as various cloud VPSs like DigitalOcean, Linode, I think it's called. I don't know. There's several of them that we use. Anyway, Vultr is the other one I was thinking of. Vultr, Linode, DigitalOcean. We use VPSs there, but then we also use Rackspace and Amazon S3. And when we upload the HTML files or when we add the site, we get a CNAME record that then we add to our domain registrar or Cloudflare, depending on whether we need HTTPS or not. So SSL. And so, yeah, you can do that. But the important thing then is that you want, because the cloud storage bucket URL, the site will resolve on that. The cloud page will resolve on the bucket URL, which is how most people are building now because of things like Yaks, right? They just publish an HTML page to the cloud storage bucket container that they've set up and everything else, and that's it. You can do a custom domain as well. But what's important is that you want to have whatever you decide to do, you need to set a canonical for that. Like, so do you want the canonical to point to the cloud storage bucket URL, or do you want it to point to the custom domain? I would recommend that you have if you're going to use a custom domain, that you have the canonical point to the custom domain. So the custom domain is getting the benefit. That said, you know, the reason why we use custom domains for cloud hosted HTML pages, and I don't just mean cloud pages like what we can build with Yaks. It's a good opportunity to drop the Yaks link, by the way. But because, you know, there's two reasons why we do cloud pages, right, guys? There's cloud pages on the cloud storage bucket, in the cloud storage buckets, whether it's Google Cloud Storage or Amazon S3 or, you know, any one of those, period, because those have high traditional metrics right out of the gate. And I'm using air quotes because I don't really care a whole lot about traditional metrics, but that's like UR and DR, so Ahrefs metrics, or page authority and domain authority, so Moz metrics. Those instantly kind of have high metrics because they're in high authority domains, or their containers built in high authority domains such as Amazon or Google Cloud Storage, et cetera, Microsoft Azure, et cetera, right? So there's a reason to use those. But why I use custom domains is because I don't really care so much about those those traditional metrics. What I care about is topical relevance. And so I use Majestic because Majestic is the only backlink analysis tool that has a measure of topical relevance for external backlinks. And it's not perfect, but it is a fairly accurate. It's a fairly good indicator of what the topical relevance is. And if you've ever taken a look at Google's NLP categories, so natural language processor categories, they are very closely aligned to Majestic's topical trust flow categories. They're not exact, but they're very closely aligned. And so I do all of my link building based on Majestic metrics. Guys, just to be clear, Majestic is a third party. They have their own proprietary metrics and algorithm too, that Google doesn't give a shit about Majestic metrics either. It really doesn't. But why I use Majestic is because of the topical trust flow, which is a fairly good indication of what the topical relevance is of backlink profiles. Okay, so all of that is to say, there are reasons to do both HTML pages on cloud storage buckets or cloud hosting and using custom domains. I prefer custom domains because I focus mostly on topical relevance, not traditional metrics. So I do use cloud pages. I don't do cloud stacks. What I call a cloud stack is a cloud page, so hosted on a cloud storage bucket, any one of the providers, but then I do semantic links, so topically relevant links to those pages. That's what I call a cloud stack. I don't do other cloud pages to the original cloud page. which is what, most people do for cloud stacking. I don't do that. I do single cloud pages and then semantic links to those pages. That's what I call a cloud stack, a semantic cloud stack, if you will. So what I'm saying is you can do both. You can have, so I can, when I use a custom domain for what I call a rebuild, then I have two versions of that site. Essentially, that I can access that HTML page in two locations, either through the custom domain or through the bucket URL. Either one, I can access it. But the HTML file has a canonical in it that canonicalizes to the homepage or the custom domain. So all of the credit gets pushed to that, if that makes sense. Those traditional metrics don't pass, so you don't get the Ahrefs URDR rating or the Moz's PADA ratings. You don't get those. You just get whatever you would. Those metrics would be whatever the domain metrics were, if that makes sense. So I do both. I do the vast majority of everything I do is on custom domains, but I do still use cloud pages as external, link sources. But then, like I said, I always build semantic links to those. That's the way that I do cloud stacks, because again, for me, it's all about topical relevance. So yes, you can do. I'm not sure about what you mean by linking back and forth, because again, the HTML it's the same file. It's just accessible in two locations, right? The cloud storage bucket, a URL, and then the custom domain, if you're going to do a custom domain. But you should canonicalize it to one or the other to make that one the priority, which again, for me, is typically going to be the custom domain. So I don't know if that was clear or not, but that's the best explanation I can give. Next one. Hey guys, I remember a while ago, Marco saying he iframed a website into his content and outranked the original page with his page. This doesn't make sense to me, as I have heard iframes pass power both ways. So wouldn't the source get a boost from his page? Is there a way to iframe other content without benefiting the other site, but boosting your own pages? Yeah, look, what Marco said is 100% true. I've discovered that through my link building business. In fact, that sometimes, and here's how I know this, because as I just talked about, guys, I go out and hunt down domains that are topically relevant in the appropriate categories that I need them to be in for the project that I'm going to be using them to build links to. So they're already relevant. They have clean link histories, clean link clean link profiles, clean registration histories. They've not been spammed or any of that, right? So what I do a lot of embeds when I do rebuilds. Again, that's what I call my links when I go out and find domains that and then register domains that had been previously published. I call them rebuilds. Okay. So anyways, I do a ton of embeds. We do a lot of embeds. We do Google Business Website embeds, and we do Google Map embeds. When I first started this, I was doing also money site embeds, not all the time, because we do a lot of anchor text links, but we would do sometimes money site embeds. And what happened was, because some of these domains that I pick up for the projects that I need them for are so powerful and so clean and have so much topical relevance already built to them with clean backlink profiles in the appropriate categories and all of that, that sometimes when I would iframe the money site into a rebuild, the rebuild would end up replacing the money site in the search results. Do you understand what I'm saying? So in other words, let's just say that a target page that I was trying to promote with a rebuild for a money site, a target page on a money site, was ranking in the number 3 organic position for whatever the keyword was. Let's just say tree service, Dallas, Texas, right? Like that's the keyword. And my money site page was ranking on number 3 position organic. Then I go out and find a tree service domain or a domain that was in the business construction, one of the topical categories that is relevant to a tree service industry. And it was very clean, but it's nice, powerful domain. I register it, then I embed the money site page into that. Well, what happened was, all of a sudden, that my number 3 ranking for my money site page disappeared, and the rebuild domain now ranks number 3. Right? It has the money site page embedded still. So technically I'm still in the number 3 position, but it's now the rebuild domain, which is a tier 1 link, that is actually ranking instead of the money site page. So it's like the rebuild cannibalized the money site page. The money site page is still present in that same position in the search results, but it's embedded, it's contained within the other domain. Does that make sense? So once I discovered that, I realized, okay, that's how powerful some of these domains are, right? And so I stopped doing embeds for money sites. I still do a ton of embeds for Google business websites and Google Maps and other tier 1 entity assets. We will do embeds when we're doing tier 2 link building. But for the money site, we stopped doing embeds specifically for that reason, because the domains that we purchased that we use for link building can sometimes cannibalize the money site pages. And so that just goes back to, again, like you said, well, shouldn't the power pass both ways? Well, yeah, like for example, link equity will flow through the iframe to the money site. But if the domain that I purchase, which again, I've seen it happen, so I just don't do this anymore. But if the domain I purchase is particularly strong and Google likes it, right? Then again, you embed the money page. And yes, a lot of those metrics and link equity, relevance, and everything will pass through to the money site, but perhaps that domain was stronger. And that's why it will outrank and cannibalize the money site page, even though the money site page is still present because it's embedded in that. But I don't want that. I want my branded assets to appear in search results, not a rebuild domain. Does that make sense? The rebuild domains are strictly to help my branded assets rank higher. At least that's why I intend to use the way that I intend to use them. So yes, you can still, it still passes the kind of topical relevance and link equity and all that through the iframes. But if the page that you were embedding your target asset into is stronger, then it can outrank even the original. And that's what Marco was saying. I mean, is absolutely true. And again, I've experienced that firsthand this year from doing my link building business. So we no longer embed money site pages. So is there a way to iframe other content without benefiting the other site, but boosting your own pages? Not that I'm aware of, because it does kind of benefit both, really. Because here's the thing, like when you iframe in a content, like it considers the content within the iframe as content of that page. Does that make sense? So like, again, that's why what I do with G sites, guys, with Google sites, I do content mirroring or theme mirroring. That's what Network Empire called it many years ago. I call it more content mirroring, but that's where you mirror the site structure into a G site. But I really don't add content to the G other than the homepage. The internal pages that I mirror the structure of my main money site into the G site. And now with the content mirroring method, which I updated for POFU Live this year, I use a series of like bloggers, another one that we mirror. Anyway, the internal pages that we make are just it's a 1-to-1 ratio of the same like pages that are on the money site. We build those same pages onto the G site, but we don't need any content for the G site because we just embed the money site pages into the G site. I don't know if that makes sense, but because then what happens is the G site, when Google comes and crawls that, it considers the money site content, which is just embedded into the G site, as the content of the G site. So it's a great way, a very efficient way to add new link building targets to an existing project. That's what, again, I taught about this at POFU Live, the content mirroring method. Those of you that were at POFU Live, I know you're still waiting on the full SOPs. I've had an enormous amount of trouble with the WordPress plugin that I had developed for the site structure and everything. Anyways, I've been working on that a lot this week. I put a lot of hours in this week, and I hope by Friday to have that delivered into the POFU Live Facebook group, guys. So you'll have that. Anyway, what I'm saying is the content mirroring method. We're using Blogger now and in Cloud Pages and G sites. So there's like these different layers, but we don't really need any other content, right? You just take money site pages, content from your money site pages, you summarize that. What I'm doing is we summarize that content into a video. So the first step of the content mirroring method, and if there's a Google business profile associated with the project, then you just summarize the page content into a Google business post first, 200 to 225 words. Then you take that content and you create a YouTube video from that content using something like wave.video or Pictory, I think it is, .ai is another one. Anyways, it does text to speech and everything else. So you just paste the content in, it automatically creates a video with relevant images or video clips, and it does text to speech option from the content, everything else. About 10 minutes it takes to produce a video. So those essentially, you don't need any new content. You take the content from your money site, summarize it, create a Google business post, take that Google business post text, create a YouTube video. Those are the first two elements. Then we do a blogger. So we create a branded blogger blog and then mirror the site structure into pages or posts in the blogger blog. But we don't need any new content because now we just embed the Google Business post. If there's a Google Business profile associated with it, we embed the YouTube video and the money page into the blogger. That's the first layer. Well, it's really this, it's the first container. And then we do cloud pages. And then we do G sites, and the G site is kind of like the external container, the biggest. It's like the Russian dolls, right? The money site being the small doll in the middle. Then we have the blogger as the next doll. It's a little bit bigger. Then we have cloud pages. Then we have G sites, and every single one of those layers don't need any additional content because it's just iframe, right? And so it's beautiful because you can very quickly create this structure that now you have 4 different layers. And if you got Google Business Posts and YouTube as part of that, that you really can have up to 6 layers. And every one of those layers become different link building targets where you can, with those, you could do bulk link spam. I don't do that. I do topically relevant links only. But what I'm saying is because they're all very high authority properties, remember the outside container, Google Sites, then the next container inside that is cloud pages. You can use various cloud hosts if you want. Then inside that is Blogger. Then inside that is YouTube. And if Google Business is there, then Google Business Posts. And then inside that is the money site. And so you can see how you can push at each layer, you can build links to and push link equity and topical relevance in without ever having to link directly to the money site. And all that shit flows all the way down. You know, they say shit rolls downhill, right? Well, it does. It rolls all downhill to that money site. And it's a very, very powerful method that you can do. It still takes a lot of work to set it up, but you don't need to produce any more content, right? If you spend your money and effort or time and effort on producing well-tuned content for the money site, then why not just repurpose all that content without having to produce new content? And that's precisely what this method is all about. So, which by the way, guys, I'm the mastermind webinar for the next mastermind webinar is tomorrow. And the content mirroring method is going to be released into the mastermind tomorrow. So it was only available to POFU Live attendees until tomorrow. And then tomorrow, that's going to be available in the mastermind. So if you want the full training for that, come join us. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know how to iframe without benefiting both sites, but really it's the better optimized and more powerful site will benefit the most from that, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's a good question. Next one. How can you monetize a rank and rent site while you're building up rankings and don't have a client secured to lease out the website leads? Want to be careful not to end up making my business too reliant on that and have options to monetize if they leave or if it takes longer to secure someone. How can you monetize a rank and rent site while you're building up your rankings and don't have a client secured to lease out the website leads? I don't know. I'm not sure I understand that. If it's a rank and rent website, because you want to rent, either sell the leads or lease the site for a flat monthly fee. Those are kind of 2 different approaches, right? One is much easier to manage. Rank and rent is so much easier to manage because it requires a hell of a lot less tracking of everything. But you could potentially leave money on the table, right? Pay per lead can oftentimes be more lucrative. But if your strategy is generating leads, whether you're leasing that asset for a flat monthly fee or you're selling the leads, the point of that asset is the monetization strategy is lead generation. Does that make sense? So I don't know how else you would monetize it. I mean, there's AdSense and ads, and there's also like, building a list if you had an opt-in, but I don't know how that would be appropriate if you're not getting traffic, right? If the whole point of it is to generate leads, then once it starts getting traffic, it should be generating leads, right? So then you can monetize it. So I'm not sure. I know what I've been doing recently is more Google Ads stuff to secure a lead buyer for an asset that I've built in a particular area, but before I have got all the SEO work towards ranking. Like, in other words, I'll build an asset into an area that I've already determined I want to enter. I want to target a specific market area. So I build the assets and then I set up a Google Ads campaign and start generating leads using Google Ads. Even if I'm selling those leads at a small loss, it's okay because I'm working on, I want a secured lead buyer for that asset so that when the SEO does work, and it does start to rank and generate leads organically, then I've already got somebody in place. So again, what I've been doing more recently is doing Google Ads campaigns for lead gen assets that I have set up before I have them ranked, so that I can find a lead buyer, secure a lead buyer or a renter, depending on whether I'm doing rank and rent or pay per lead, but I can find somebody to secure or pay for, either buy the leads or rent the asset from me, because I've got leads coming in, even though I might be paying for them from Google Ads until the SEO kicks in. Then I can kill the ads and just make money off the organic leads. If that makes sense. It does. I'm even willing to do that at a loss right now up front, because not a significant loss, but let's say I'm paying for tree service leads, $75 cost per acquisition, cost per conversion. Then I can turn around and sell that lead for, $50, $60. So even if I'm taking a small loss on that initial, month or two while I'm getting everything ranked, I'm okay with that, because I understand that once I have the ability to cut the ads off because it's generating leads organically, then that's like pure profit almost, other than some link building stuff that I have to do to keep it maintained. If that makes sense. I'm not suggesting that you guys go out and build a business where you're taking a loss up front, but sometimes you have to, right? And personally, what I'm doing now is building lead gen assets that don't have Google business profiles. And so it takes longer to rank something purely organically than it does if it has, at least what I've experienced in local SEO, that if there's a Google business asset, I can rank it quicker than I can just on straight organic ranking, period, like alone. I don't know if that makes sense, but what I'm saying is, if there is a Google business asset with a project, I can usually rank that in 3 months, sometimes 4 months. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, sometimes less, depends on the competition level, but usually within 4 months, no matter how competitive, I'm able to get it ranked. When it comes to a project that does not have a Google business asset, it takes longer. It takes sometimes 6 months, 8 months. It depends on the competition level of the particular area. So there are some things that I taught at POFU Live of ways to speed that up a bit, which comes back down to validating the entity, guys. Part of the reason why stuff ranks faster when it has a verified Google business profile is because you verified or validated the entity. When you have a straight up organic asset where there's no Google business, because think about it, guys, the process of verifying a Google business profile now establishes or validates the entity, the local entity. So that's why it's easier to rank a site or a project if it has Google business associated with it, because you've already established and validated an entity, right? When it's an organic site only, it's more difficult because you're not going through that validation or verification process to validate the entity. There are things you can do though, right? You can set up a Google Workspace account on the domain for the site that you're trying to rank. You can set up Google Ads because now you're paying Google for traffic, which helps to validate the entity, plus the credit card on file, your billing details on file. That helps to validate the entity. It's a lot less likely that you're a complete spammer if you're willing to pay Google for traffic. You know what I mean? Adding all of the Google tools, Google Tag Manager, which you should do if you're doing Google Ads anyways, because you should have conversion tracking, remarketing, all that kind of stuff in place. Google Analytics, Search Console, right? These are all things that you can integrate that are all Google products that help to validate the entity. Does that make sense? So anyway, that's just, I'm not suggesting that you guys go out and take, set up a business where you're losing money up front, but isn't that how most businesses operate anyways, right? You have to spend some money before you start turning a profit. So I don't know. It's just kind of a strategy that I've been testing with the last couple of months, and it's working. I've got a tree contractor right now in Louisville, Kentucky. That's what I did my training on actually for POFU Live, was that project. And I've got a contractor right now. He just contacted me again today, actually. And I just started setting up the ad campaign for him while I'm working. I built 2 sites for him in the same Louisville area of Kentucky. The second one's almost published. It'll be published by Friday. And now we're setting up the Google Ads campaigns, and he's going to rent both of those sites from me. So I just got to get some leads coming in right now. He got his first lead today from organic ranking, which, by the way, those of you that were POFU Live, that project that I showed at POFU Live, it generated its first lead today. I swear to God, I got a text message from him earlier today, and he was like, I got our first lead. All right. So he's happy. So anyway, how would you approach getting reputation management clients for ongoing press releases and brand content to protect the company name, keywords, and the SERPs? I'll tell you what I would do. If if you think it's a strong prospect, I would publish a press release for them and then show them the results. Like, do it free. I'm not kidding. That works really well. I've done that several times. I know it's an expense on your part. Again, guys, sometimes I don't mind spending a little bit of money to secure monthly recurring revenue, which is what I'm talking about with the Google ads and, rank and rent. Same thing with this, a press release. Yes, it's going to cost you the cost of a press release. But if you have a good prospect that you've already been in communication with, that, you want to kind of push them over the edge, is publish a press release targeting their name, their brand name, which is, by the way, you should almost always include the brand name in a press release in the title, because that's primarily how I use press releases now. It's more of a branding tool than it is for, link building or anything else. It's because I want, when somebody does a brand search, a prospective customer does a brand search, I want everything positive on the front page, and I want to own that first page, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, again, doing how would you approach getting reputation management clients for ongoing press releases? Publishing a press release to announce a 5-star review was received for a company as a great excuse to publish a press release. And not only that, but now you can, those will rank for somebody searching brand name or brand name reviews, right? And so that's why you do that, right? You go take one other, and here's another thing. I'm not kidding, guys. I've used this many, many times. But David Sprague's rep videos, I've talked about this on Hump Day Hangouts before. David Sprague rep videos. It's like $100 a month. It's fantastic. And he just did a whole bunch of stuff recently. I don't have an affiliate link for this. I wish I did, but because I use it, I've been using rep videos for years, guys. And I think it's $100 a month, and you get like 25 video credits per month. So it's like $4 per video. It's fabulous. And he just did a whole bunch of really cool updates and stuff to this now that this had remained unchanged for years. And just in the last like 2 months, he did a significant update. There's a lot of new features in here and everything else. Anyways, great service. I love it. And here's the thing with reputation clients, and let's just check it out. I think you got to go through it too. I think it's $100 a month. That's what I pay, but I've had an account for years. So anyway, what I'm trying to tell you is this system makes it incredibly easy to, you plug in your prospect's company information, and it pulls in via API. If it's a business with the published street address, it'll pull in from Google Places API all the data. If it's a service area business, then you have to enter the data manually. But anyways, once you're set up the company, it will pull in all the Google reviews, Yelp reviews, and something else. But I usually only use Google reviews anyways. And it'll go out and create a video, a very nice looking video. I mean, those of us that have been in this industry for a long time, we've seen these a million times, but there's a lot of people, a lot of businesses that have never seen these, and they look high quality. They've got great voiceovers, all that. Very nice looking videos get produced almost 100% automatically. You just got a couple of settings you need to edit, and that's it. Boom. It'll publish the video, and it can automatically upload it to your YouTube channel. If it's a client, you can have it also upload to the client's channel, but I always recommend you have your own channel, and every video that you produce in Rep Videos gets uploaded to your channel. It can also be uploaded to a client's channel if they have their own channel, but you should always have your channel being populated with these videos because it builds authority to your channel. Anyway, what I'm saying is you take a prospect that has at least one 5-star review, and you plug them into this and have it create a video out of that 5-star review. You upload it to your channel. Now, in the press release, you target that 5-star review, that same 5-star review that is in the video. You go grab the review share URL from Google Maps, right? So just to show you guys how that works, because I know some of you probably don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to use the same. This is not my project, but I always look at this site because they did such a phenomenal job with it. Anyway, if we go into Google Maps here, we click on reviews, we just pick one, right? Doesn't matter. Whatever one that you're going to use in the video, the rep video, you would just click on the link, share review right there. Boom. That's the review share URL. So if we go open this in another tab, you'll see what it looks like. It just goes to this one review, and that's it. So let's say that this is the review you create the video from in Rep Videos. Then in the press release, you target the company name and then 5-star review, right? That's in the SEO title, the press release title, excuse me. So the brand name is in the title and reviews somewhere, right? So, and then in the press release, you embed the rep video, and then you also link to the same review via the share URL that I just showed you how to get, right? You just go find the review, click the 3 dots, click share review, and then copy that. Okay. And now you publish that press release. That press release will rank for that company name. It will also rank for that company name plus reviews. It will help that video to pop into the search results for company name or company name reviews search. That YouTube video will pop because it's been embedded in a press release that gets published. So now the press release will rank and the YouTube video will rank. And it is a good signal to the Google Maps as well, to link to these, especially if you get click activity on this link. That's a great signal for Maps. And then you do that, and guys, this will rank in like a matter of hours. Once it's published, like literally the day that it's published, you will see the video will rank and the press release will rank. At least 1 or 2 versions of the press release, one of the publications will rank. And then you take screenshots of that stuff or a screencast video, record it like, hey, just want to show you guys, I really want your business. I want to earn your business. I wanted to show you what I'm capable of doing. We can help to not only build your reputation, but also to market your reputation, right? That's what David Sprague calls it, is reputation marketing. Here's what we did for you, free of charge. All I want is a conversation out of this. That's it. Like, seriously, you do that, and that's a way to earn kind of like the respect of your prospect. And I've done that many times, guys, and it works. And it's not hard to do. Again, it's a little bit of money up front, but I'm willing to spend, $100 on a press release and $4 on a rep video and a little bit of time to set it up to purchase. Literally, I'm buying monthly recurring revenue that way. Does that make sense? So again, it's one of those things, guys, invest to make money, right? I think it's a great strategy. I've done it many, many times. In fact, I have that built into my kind of directory prospecting thing for tree service clients. That's one of the nurture campaigns that I have, is in case they didn't take me up on my pitch when I send the pitch video for Google Business SEO for my directory site and everything, they go into a nurture kind of sequence. And one of them that I've tested with is giving away a free rep video. Another one I've tested is doing a press release. So, I only recommend doing those for the prospects that you already either have good communication with, or, somebody that you're really courting, like a company that you're really courting, because, again, you could end up wasting time and money on people that really aren't interested. So you don't just do this for anybody. You just do those for the prospects that you've already got, some warm conversations with. Okay. Is there a way we can leverage other search engines like Yahoo and AOL to help our entity or schema? I don't know, because I don't do any of that stuff. There is one that SE just covered in Syndication Academy 2 weeks ago, I believe, or it might have been a month ago now, but it's called Bing Pages. We go to Bing search, actually. This looks pretty cool. I secured mine during Hump Day Hangouts last month, excuse me. But it's called Bing Pages. Just go check it out. I can see how this is pretty powerful. Although like I said, I just started testing. I really haven't been testing with this. I just secured my own Bing page, or claimed my own Bing page for me personally. But this is pretty cool. I could see this. Just go check out Bing Pages. That's all I can say. I don't optimize for anything else. I don't even optimize for Bing. I just optimize for Google, because what is it, like 87% of all search traffic, or 83% or something, comes through Google. So, but Bing Pages looks like it's pretty cool, because it's a way, it's almost like a knowledge panel, but Bing's version of it, and you can claim it, or at least right now you can, and you can add some of your own, social profiles and everything else. So what I was talking about with, expanding your entity footprint, and then helping Google to assist Google in finding those profiles and everything else, like that's where things like Bing Pages can help, right? Because you can consolidate profiles and things, and it can help establish a person or a company, an entity, essentially. So check it out. How would you go about managing multiple affiliate accounts for a lot of different sites? Example, 5 Walmart affiliate accounts for 5 blogs. and 10 AdSense accounts. Worried about footprints and having to constantly sign into multiple browser tabs. Yeah, I don't do affiliate stuff. So unfortunately, I don't really have a lot of, I mean, I can talk about signing into multiple tabs. Just use a profile keeper, a browser keeper, right? So what are we using now, Chris? It's called Go Login. I think that's
yeah, most people in that space might be able to use multi-login, which is more common for those things.
multi-login.
Multi-login.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
And that's better than Go Login for affiliate space.
It depends really what they're doing exactly.
Okay.
They're both okay. There are like, I don't know, at least 20 of those platforms that I know like that are out there.
Yeah, because you introduced me to Go Login. That's what we're using for our agency now. But and I'm still in Bing search. That's interesting. I'm not used to searching in Bing. But Go Login is what we just picked. We just started using this within what, like the last week and a half maybe. Multi-login. Then there's also Session Splitter, Session Box. There's a bunch of them out there, guys. Ghost Browser. That's another one. Ghost Browser. There's the one that was on AppSumo for a while called Logi. I don't know if that's still on there. I picked it up and I've never used it. I've still never used it, but it was called Logi, Logii, I believe it was. I don't know if it's still there. There it is. That's $100 one time. So anyways, this is how you can manage multiple browser profiles all at the same time. You can be logged into all of them. And they're separate Chrome instances or Chromium or whatever it is. So it keeps like all the cache and cookies for each profile in its own kind of separate container, its own browser. So you can have multiple logins all like open at the same time, if that makes sense. Can't help you on the AdSense side of things. I don't do any of that or affiliate stuff, but I can talk about, help you with that. And that's, like I said, AppSumo right there, $100. I've not used it. I picked it up, but I've not used it yet. But there you go. So why is one 129 and one is 99? That's weird. It's interesting. Oh, that's because that's on Plus. This one's not. I got you. I'm on AppSumo Plus. It's worth it. If you buy a bunch of AppSumo stuff, guys, you should be on AppSumo Plus. Crack Sumo. All right, next one. Is there any benefits of pointing a custom domain name via DNS to a Google site? Doesn't matter if it is having spammy links. I don't know. I tested with that years ago, but I haven't done anything recently. I don't know. I think there would be benefit to it if you're buying a custom domain that already has metrics. Sure. Like what I do with semantic links, right? Going out and finding domains that are topically relevant, inbound link profile that is topically relevant, clean link profile, clean history. When I say clean, meaning non-spammy. I do want links built to it, but I want them to be from the appropriate sources, right? In the appropriate topical trust flow categories. So if you're going to do that, then yeah, it would benefit from that. Although, again, part of the reason that Google sites are still so valuable is because it's the Google domain. So you'd have to test that. How about that? That's my answer. You'd have to test. Is there any benefit to it? I don't know. I would think that there would be because I haven't done any of that in years. I think there would be benefit if you're buying a domain with the appropriate topical relevance and everything else. There may be benefit from that. But then do you lose the power of it being on the Google domain that way? I don't know. That's worth a test, though. It's not something I'm going to commit to testing because I don't have the time to do that right now. But that sounds like something that you could test for sure. So do you have more LocalFury test results that you can show us for the past few months? And do you have an estimated amount of signals being sent for low comp? Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything I can show you right now, but next week we're going to, like I said, at the beginning of today's Hump Day Hangout I'm going to do a presentation for a JV promotion that I'm doing with another group. So we're not going to pitch that here, guys. It's for another group. But what I'm saying is the developments that were just presented to us today from our developers about the reporting and being able to show the signals that are being sent to your assets in LocalFury. That will be in the presentation on Monday. We will take those sections out to show the new developments and send those out to customers via email next week. Hopefully we'll get those out by the end of the week because my presentation's on Monday and then we have to edit those and create the emails and everything else, but hopefully we'll get it out by the end of next week. That's my intent, is to get it out by the end of next week. So you will, if you're already a subscriber, you will get those next week. Yeah. And you'll start, that's the thing. Like I said, my developer today committed to having the engagement signal activity reporting available next week. Don't know when, but we can show you what is coming when I do the presentation. Like I said, we're going to send out some emails to show you guys what's coming. And hopefully by the end of next week, that will actually be available. We're still trying to figure out how to get that reporting data into the dashboard area right now. That's one of the challenges that we're facing, but we'll get it worked out. So, so next week we will be sending out some information showing some results that we've got for existing members or, customers, whatever, as well as the new reporting features. And then hopefully by the end of next week, we will have those reporting features available for our customers to be able to see the signals that are being sent. If that makes sense. And again, we appreciate those of you that have been patient. I understand it's frustrating to not know what is being done. I totally get it. I get it. I've been hounding to get that done. We're building stuff from scratch, so it's just been a bit of a challenge, but we hope to have that resolved next week. So, all right, great. Thanks. I appreciate that. He just replied back, said, thanks, Bradley. Can't wait for the LocalFury updates. Yeah, me too, man. Trust me. I can't wait to bring this to you guys because I know we know that some of you guys think we're full of shit and we're not doing anything. We're just taking your money. And I can assure you that is not the case. So Adam, do you want to chime in for a minute?
No, I was just going to say, if that's Russ, yeah, good catch on the coming up to Hump Day Hangouts and asking too. So,
yeah, right on. All right, last one. Hey, what anchor text do you recommend nowadays is the tier one? Is it somehow correct at 60 to 70% just brand name and naked URLs? 15% generic, 5% exact match, and what this should be for a simple blog site. Okay, yeah, do not use formulas like that, guys. That's bullshit. That is total bullshit. Years ago, that might have been true, and I followed similar kind of formulas for anchor text ratios back then. The best thing you can do to determine anchor text ratios is look at what the top 5 ranked competitors are doing for the keyword that you want to rank for. That's what I do in my link building business. In fact, we got 2 minutes. I'm going to pause the screen for a minute. I'm just going to show you an example of one of these. And guys, I teach this in the mastermind too. You don't have to go through me for link building to learn how to analyze competition and determine the exact anchor text ratio. And I don't mean exact because it's just a range. You just do an average of the top 5 and it gives you a model anchor text profile to model your own assets after. Why? Because if they're ranked in the top, if they're the top 5 ranked organic competitors for the search query that you want to target, then whatever they're doing off page, Google likes. So if you average out their anchor text profiles, you figure out, you classify each one of their anchor texts for the links that are pointing to their sites into the 5 categories that, well, those are the 5, I use 5 categories. I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. I'm trying to get to that. But anyway, if you model your own anchor text ratios after that, then you will, you're giving Google what it likes. And you're using Google's data to determine that. You're using data from assets or sites, pages that are already ranked for the keywords that you want to rank for. So you model their anchor text ratios. That's the winning recipe, not some generic formula out there that somebody said 5 or 10 years ago and thinks that that's law, because that's not the case. It's going to vary depending on keywords. Just 1 minute. I'm sorry, guys. I'm jumping back in here, and then I promise I'll wrap it up.
Sure, Bradley. Sure.
So we'll look at this one. And this has not been updated in a couple of months because this is an older project. But anyway, all right. So here's an example of what I mean. So what we do is, like, for this keyword, tree service Leesburg, VA. If you take a look at this, what we did was, and this is a bit old now. Whatever. Anyway, for that particular search query, we go out and figure out, we look at the top ranked competitors for that particular search query. We analyze their backlink profile. We then classify each one of their anchor texts into one of 5 categories: brand/URL. That's the brand name as an anchor text, or the URL, or what I call a compound anchor, which is brand plus location modifier, or brand plus keyword, so product or service, etc. Then there's miscellaneous anchors. Another term for that is generic. So click here, learn more, this site, etc. There's empty/frame anchors. That's an iframe or an embed or a redirect URL or an image link that does not contain alt text. If it has alt text, then the alt text is the anchor text. There's target anchors, which are keyword plus location modifier. So keyword plus city, or city plus keyword, or keyword plus near me, or one of the variants of near me, like nearby, close to me, around me, etc. Then there's topic anchors. Topic anchors are keyword only. So product or service keywords only without location modifiers. Okay. You classify each one of their anchor texts, and I've got formulas built into this sheet, and it automatically gives you an average number of backlinks as well as an average anchor text ratio. Then you model your own target assets after that anchor text ratio. It doesn't have to be exact because it's just an average. You just want to get it close to that range. However, to answer what you asked about branded anchor text, I manage an enormous amount of locations now because of my link building business. And I'm telling you that the 80-20 rule absolutely applies here. 80% of the time, the top 5 ranked competitors' average anchor text ratio in the local space is between 40 to 60% brand anchors. So if you do want some kind of a generic formula to follow, just know that always go heavy on brand anchors and don't go heavy on URL anchors, guys. Anchor text should be descriptive of what it is linking to. A URL anchor is not descriptive. Does that make sense? I don't do URL anchors anymore. I just do anchor text, and I do descriptive anchors or brand anchors. That makes sense. So again, average out if you're in the mastermind, I'll give you access to this workbook, and it's got all the formulas built in. All you got to do is go out and analyze your competitors, and it will automatically populate these charts for you, and you'll know exactly what you need to build. So that's the best way to do it. Not some generic formula, right? Look at the data. What is the data telling you? And then model that. What are the top ranked competitors doing? Model that. And that's how you get good results. So anyway, that's a good question as well. Thanks for sticking around. Next couple minutes, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Adios.